Hello everyone, welcome to my Dragonbane solo campaign, chapter 3. This is session 3. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to this map yet. This is going to be our third waypoint. We're going to get to that third waypoint, but I do need to finish up just a little bit on the second waypoint. Izzek is in a ruined, collapsed tower, having just killed a vacant Empire elf scout, apparently, that had been stationed at this watchtower. He's now exploring this place. He searched the elf, didn't really find anything. The elf has just basically a weapon and armor. Nothing else on him. There's an obelisk in the center of this room humming quietly, covered in elfin ruins once that he was not able to read. Izzek's really outside his environment here. He's elves? What kind of world are we living in here? Anyway, didn't have much luck with a lot of sorts. He tried to scavenge a little bit. But I do still want to search a little bit more of this tower. If we can, find some information that might help us find out more about these vacant elves, I say we do so. But he's going to spend some time searching in here. If we don't find anything, we're moving on to the third waypoint in this chapter because I'm kind of excited about the third waypoint. It's one of the first waypoints I wrote. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I didn't change it even when I changed chapter 3. I think it'll still fit in for what I want to do. Anyway, back to this waypoint. Okay, so Izzek still searches around this room. It's pretty clear this was its original intent was a watchtower. Apparently, its current intent is still also a watchtower. It does overlook the road. You can see now, even though the tower's collapsed, it is open. There are some wooden stairs that are in good shape that lead up to, I guess, what would be the second floor of this tower. And on that second floor of this tower, there are arrow slits that look out of all directions of this tower and onto the road below. So if this elf was watching that road, Izzek never really had a chance in the first place to be stealthy, because this elf would have spotted him all the way there. To quote Lord of the Rings, is it Haldir who says, "We could hear the dwarf breathing from a mile away"? I don't remember the exact quote. But anyway, this elf, it would have been one of those scenarios for Izzek. He was doomed to be found this elf was watching him from a mile away. But let's see what else is in this room. As I also mentioned, this tower is covered in a strange white fungus with purple dots on it. Izzek did successfully, identify this fungus as nightcap, which is used frequently by nightkin to make poisons. On the bottom floor, I'm gonna ask the oracles. Let's see, is this still kind of an unknown waypoint? Let me ask, can Izzek find whether or not there is a purpose to all these nightkin being in this tower? I'm gonna keep normal yes, no's on this one. 5, yes. So, So on this first floor, there is a not just besides the obelisk. This has obviously been a living area, a workshop area. It's obvious that this elf spends his time here. Maybe there's some sort of rotation schedule, whatever. This place is clearly inhabited. It is not an uninhabited tower. There's a work shelf, a work table on this first floor to the side, where it's clear that these nightcaps are harvested and processed into vials. The elf didn't have his weapon coated with poison when he attacked. It's not super clear what the elves may use this for. What else would they use it for besides poison? That's what Nightkin use it for. But at the same time, You know, it doesn't really seem to be an indication that they're making an oil or a something that is applied to weapons. They are being stored in like glass vials, maybe like to be like have people drink it. It remains kind of unclear. However, I think Izzek is going to take one of these poison vials with him. Why not? There are several of them there, several flasks, you know, filled with this liquid harvested from these nightcaps. Izzek himself doesn't really know how to make poison. That's not a tool of his trade. Maybe it is processed in a different way. What's the power level of this potion he takes? That's a good use for it. I'm going to roll on this as well. 1. It is weak. It is the power level is weak. I'm going to write it down. Weak potion vial. I'll make note of it over here on my character sheet. I don't have the space on my character sheet. I'll make note of it on a spare sheet. Weak poison vial. Maybe Izzek will find a use for it at some point in the future, but that appears to be a main function of, maybe that's what this tower is as well. They seem to be harvesting this mushroom, but there doesn't seem to be any real reason as to why these mushrooms are being grown. As Izzek said, these mushrooms are normally found in dark caves and underground places, or in the very darkest of forests, which is not this place. The growth of these fungus seem unnatural. Let's see. So he grabs a poison vial off of there. Upstairs is the bedroom. Like I said, there's 2 levels left of this tower, such as it is. On that second level where you can look out over the road, there's a cot there. I'm going to do a scavenge search there and see if there's anything in there. No, maybe I should do a larger search. Let's see, scavenge. Remember the difference between scavenge and searching. Scavenge is more when you're searching a specific thing. There's an actual search tables in here. The search table gets me in trouble though. Searching is when you carefully inspect an area for hidden doors, concealed mechanisms, or other secrets. Roll a spot hidden. The time to search is risky. It requires a stretch, and any active threats involve. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be quite appropriate. This is the second level of a Truant Tower. There's not going to be a hidden antechambers or secret paths or hidden vaults. Well, I'd have to do something weird with that. I don't think I'm going to get that specific. Scavenging, when ransacking a cache of abandoned supplies, digging through the nest of a slain creature, or examining the gear of a fallen enemy. This is more appropriate. Digging through the nest of a slain creature or a cache of abandoned supplies. That sounds appropriate. There was nothing on the elf, but it made the elf have anything stored in his bedroom. 2, once again, nothing of note. These elves lead a meager life. He couldn't really even see any food stuff in here. The cot is obviously slept in, but nothing to identify the elf, nothing to indicate where he came from, no notes, no messages, no indication of who he's communicating with, how long he's been here. At this point in time, I think there's not anything else that Izzek has been able to find of note that's going to help guide him towards more elves. He leaves this place. At least that's 1 elf down. Only 999 more to go. And heads off the hill. And goes back down, grabs pork chop, heads on down the road to waypoint 3. Oh, okay, the meat of the matter. Waypoint 3. Let me read this thing. I've written this down. I like how we're progressing through this chapter relatively well so far. I have a slight feeling it's going to slow down towards the end as this thing may, as we start to really deal with the Vacant Empire. Waypoint 3. A great cacophony steers you off the main trail towards a battleground. Littering the canopy floor under a mammoth oak tree lies the bodies of frogkin and harpies. On the far side of the tree, you see 2 Frog King back to back, fending off attacks from 4 remaining harpies. It does not look like they will survive without immediate assistance. So, I only have, I only have 1 Frogkin. Everybody push that up. I know my camera's been a little low lately. 1 harpy. So let's pretend 4 harpies, 2 Frogkin. But it's really as Izzek's going down the road, once again, wary, pondering the battle he just fought, the elf that rose from the dead in the strange armor, who recognized the sword. Travels down this road. The roads continue to bend to the west, and according to his map, this is sort of the most northern west tip before this road starts going back east again towards the Bent Oak Swamp. So he's already traveled a good chunk of north into this wetlands at this point in time. It is getting towards evening, much to his own dismay. He's traveled through the entire day. Normally he'd like to take a break through the day, but I guess this urge to get through these wetlands are a whole other thing entirely. But it's getting towards evening. He's going to have to make camp. But a huge cacophony, I mean, he can hear it in these wetlands, it seems like, from a long ways away. On another distant hill, not very far off the road, there's a large flat hill, not quite like a mesa, but it's a large flat hill. On that hill is this mammoth oak tree. I mean, it towers over the lands around it. Swirling that oak tree, indeed, harpies. There's this thing to know what harpies are. Whenever he encounters a new creature, I like to roll on the myths and legends table. Harpies, are they myths and legends, or are they more bushcraft? I'm still going to do myths and legends. 16, he failed anyway. He knows harpies when he sees them. He knows very little about harpies, but something is going on up there on that hill. He hears the battle of fighting harpies, a cacophony. He ponders whether or not to intervene. I mean, if these harpies are attacking and killing bacon elves, all the better for Izzek. He can count down that 999 a few more digits down when he goes checks the bodies later. But if it's a knight, what if there's somebody up there in trouble? What if it's a nightkin in trouble? Maybe there are indeed nightkin in this land. What if it is a party of orc warriors or goblin merchants who are trying to make their way through this kingdom and are in need of help? Izzek pulls out his lance, a tool he's not done in a while, and he charges across the water, and he races Porkchop. Yeah, scoring him up the hill. Porkchop bolts. Once again, Porkchop likes to run. Running towards battle is something, too, that is going to hit him. He crests this hill, bounds over the water, around the stump, over to here. Like I said, these harpies are swirling around, though. It's hard to really identify one harpy. Sure enough, over here there are 2 Frogkin back to back, wielding spears. They got short bows across their back, and they have their backs against each other. You've seen that in those fight scenes. The 2 of them are doing to protect their backs and shield each other. The ground is littered with about 4 dead Frogkin, 2 dead harpies. This fight is already well in progress. 4 remaining harpies fly around this area. These are going to be Frogkin hunters. They are in the book. I did write them down a little bit. There's not a whole lot to really see. They're leather armor, short bows, skill 12. There we go. That's me. That's a hobgoblin right there. Let's see. And we get to the Frogkin here. Fairies. Frog people. Here we go. Frog people. Frog hunters right here you can take a look at. Short spears, short bows. Got some skills, leather armor. I'm giving these guys 10 hit points. I'm really afraid that they'd be dead in 1 round with 8 hit points. You'll see that pretty quick when it comes to these harpies. They would die freakishly fast. Anyway, 10 hit points, maybe we'll keep them alive. Izzek's going to try to save them. That's the scenario. Let me show you harpies. They are a very, very interesting monster in this book. Well, they're considered a kind of kin too, I think, now that I think about it. So they fall under the kin category. Look, they're right after the frog people, really. So here's an harpy, a nudity alert. Don't be offended. Don't ban me, YouTube. So harpies are very, very, they're interesting. So movement 24, ferocity 1, 12 hit points. They're not very hard to kill. But they fight together as a flock. Harpies fight together. Their monster attacks are performed by several harpies as a group. These attacks only use up 1 turn in the round for 1 harpy. Once half the flock has been killed, the rest will flee. They'll return later if an opportune arises. Harpies attack in the air. All melee attacks with weapons that are not long get a bane on the roll. I don't think short spears on these frogs are considered long. I think they're called short spears, not long spears, but they do got short bows. Izzek has no ranged weapon. The lance might be long. So the point of this is, these 4 harpies, even though they're ferocity 1, they're going to get rolled 4 times on that monster attack table. So they're going to put out 4 attacks, monster attacks per round. You know, you kill a harpy off, it's going to be 3 attacks. 2 harpies get killed off, 2 attacks. Yeah. Anyway, I think for the purpose of this battle, I don't know, they only have 12 hit points. I probably am not going to cause them to automatically flee. If I kill 2 of them, I might make them some sort of yes-no check to see if they flee, but I'm not going to do an automatic flee on them. They are tasting blood. They have decimated these frogkin. I think they're riding pretty high at this moment. So they may go all the way. I want to look up Lance real quick. I just want to see if Lance, I'm pretty sure Lance is a long weapon, which is funny having a Lance attack a flying creature and still being still being a long weapon. And I'll look up the short spears too, just out of curiosity. Are short spears long? No, but they can be thrown. Piercing can be thrown. Lances, long. Okay, so as I told last time I mentioned, boy, we haven't had mounted combat in a while. Baby, look at that, some mounted combat. We're gonna have it. So, Izzek rushes in to save the lives of these frogkin. It's pretty clear that without his intervention, or some sort of intervention, these frogkin are in very, very dire situation. Let's see. Have to get things a little bit organized here because this book's not going to stay open. Got to look at the attacks. The attack is 1, so I think they only get harpies fight together, and their monster attacks are performed by several harpies as a group. These attacks still only use up 1 turn in the round for 1 harpy. Fight as a group. That's a weird wording, right? Harpies fight together. Their monster attacks are performed by several harpies as a group. These attacks are still only use up 1 turn in the round for 1 harpy. So they get 4 initiative cards. 4 harpy, they get their own initiative, 4 initiatives. I guess that's how I'm reading that. Huh. There's a little bit strange phrasing. That's how I'm going to assume. They get 1 initiative card. Wow. So they're going to get so many rolls on that monster attack table. This is terrifying. Most of their attacks aren't terribly ferocious, but there's a lot of them. And I have a lot of initiatives. I'm only going to do 1 initiative for the toads. I'm sorry. Frogkin. Only 1 initiative for them to save me some initiative cards. I'm not going to do a surprise. I think Izzek is charging in, even though he's moving pretty quick. There's 4 of these harpies. They're scattered around here. They see him. I think they swivel pretty quick once he charges in. Let's do some improvised weapons. You know I love improvised weapons. I think I just shuffled these a minute ago. I hope I get this battle right. That phrasing has me a little confused. Harpies fight together. Their monster attacks are performed by several harpies of the group. Okay, makes sense. These attacks still only use up 1 turn in the round for 1 harpy. Okay. All right. 2 improvised weapons. Maybe I better do 3. Firewood. Right here, there's a fire going on here where they have a camp. A rummaging pig. Whoa! And gnarled roots. All those things make perfect sense to me up here. I don't know how I'm going to trip the enemy when they're flying around. I'm going to say maybe the branches on the tree. All right, enough of that. Let's roll. Let's get our initiatives. I guess the attack is a group. I get 2 initiative cards. The frogs get 1 initiative card. Harpies get 4. Or maybe they do 1 initiative card, but they just get 4 attacks. They fight as a group. These attacks will only use 1 turn in the round for 1 harpy. I guess maybe I'm reading that. They do only get 1 initiative card, but they get 4 attacks because there's 4 harpies. Maybe that's how I'm reading that. Anyway, if any of you experts out there know, let me know. That wording is very strange. These attacks still only use up the turn in the round for 1 harpy. I'm guessing 1 initiative card, but they get 1 each. They get 4 attacks because there's 4 harpies. That would be easier to manage. I'm going to go with that. House rule anyway. Like I said, I'm unclear on the language on it, but that makes more sense. If you had a flock of 6 harpies, we'd use up all the initiative cards available to us, which seems excessive. Okay, Izzek charges in. I'm not giving him surprise. Any of those sort of things. As in my discussion with mounted combat in the past, he uses his riding skill for both attack and defense. His riding is 11. So he's going to attack not with that special longsword, but with his lance. The lance does do quite a bit of damage, so we'll see if he hits. I do get to go first and second. So he charges in with an attack at these harpies. 12 misses. 14 misses. So he missed his 2 attacks. These frogkin, these harpies, when he rushes in and attacks these harpies scatter under his flurry of blows. He went after them twice, and tries to move them around. These frogkin take this opportunity to kind of move out of the way, out of danger. They move behind this log. There's 2 of them. I'm still going to say they pull out their short bows and attack. I think that's fair. There's 2 of them. They're going to attack. But they're going to be using their short bows. Izzek would have been at a bane anyway. So I guess, no, because long was not at a bane, right? Okay, tricky. Okay. I guess that's better. Even if he was wielding his sword, he'd be at a bane. Yeah. All right, 2 short bows off these 2 frogkin. 2 and 13. They have a skill of 12. 1 of them hits. These short bows do a D10 damage. I'm pretty sure. 3. Let me just double check the weapons real quick. I'm pretty positive that's correct. I'm almost 90% positive. I'm almost like 70%. 70% positive. Short bows. Short bows do D10. I was so right. Short spears do a D10. They do get a bonus damage with agility weapons though of a D4. So they're going to do a D10 damage 3. They also get additional D4 for agility. 4, wow. Okay, I've got to get some scratch paper out. 4 harpies. 12 hit points. 12 hit points. 12 hit points. I guess he just did 7. 5 hit points. Harpy number 4. Okay, now things are about to get a little crazy. All 6 of these harpies are, or 4 of these harpies are going to go. They're all monster attacks. These guys did fortunately duck out of the way. They're not within 10 meters. Some of these attacks group people in 10 meters, but these frogkin moved way out of the way. So they're going to hope that prevents some of these group attacks. All right, we're going to move on down the line. Oh, I should probably read the attacks to you, shouldn't I? Okay. They got a threatening cackle, which is a fear attack. You know that doesn't bother Izzek too much. They got a coordinated attack. They attack the character wearing the most metal. That's going to be me. It's the most damaging attack too, by the way. Oh wow, they lift me in the air. Ugh. Death from above. Throw rocks and chunks from afar, everyone within 10 meters. Suffer D10 bludgeoning damage. They may randomize that between me and the frogkin. Eye gouge. Unfortunate player character trying to tear their eyes out. 2d6 piercing damage and blinds me. Wow. Mass attack. Split up and attack a number of players within 10 meters equal to the number of individual harpies. Each attack inflicts d8 slashing damage. That would be very bad. Harpies open their cloaks and mouths and vomit. So everyone within 10 meters chooses a condition. Attack can be parried with a shield. So they have some attacks not so bad. Some attacks are kind of bad. Oh, I did want to take a short rest. I probably should have mentioned that. I am taking a stretch rest before I came here out of that tower too. Just make sure I heal back that hit points. I rubbed them off already, but I didn't really say that. Just a stretch rest. Not too big a deal. Easy to recover. I wasn't down that many hit points, but need to be a full one for this one. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 1, 3, 4. Good variety. Okay, so attack number 1. Fear attack. Izzek is going to spend 2 willpower points to resist that fear attack. Yeah. These 2 froggies have already been in combat prior to Izzek being here. I'm going to assume at this point they've already had their enough fear attacks going on. I'm not going to stretch it with these 2 poor, lowly little frogkin. I'm going to be taking the front of this damage anyway. Okay, 3. Death from above. I might have them take the damage from rocks. Maybe I should roll a d6. Maybe like when I roll a d6, 1 to 4 Izzek's, 5 or 6 the frogkin. But I think in this time, I will have them take a d6 rocks all the way over there. Okay. These frogkin have 10 hit points. 1 and 2. I did write down their hit points over here. Okay, so we're going to say 1 has 9, 1 has 8. I'll let them take that. Some of these weaker attacks. I'll give to them. Since they're not really going to be damaging Izzek, really. He wouldn't even get hurt hardly by a d6. It wouldn't even touch him. But we'll give a chance. 9 and 8. Let the frogs take a little bit of damage there. Attack number 4. That's where they blind me. Creatures target an unfortunate player character. Try to tear the victim's eyes out. 2d6 piercing damage and is blinded. So I am blinded. 2d6. Wow. Okay. 6 points of damage. I don't take... My armor covers that, but I'm blinded for a stretch. Let's see. What does blinding do? That sounds bad. I don't like the sound of that one bit. Blinding. That's a condition. Where's my conditions? Blind. Blind. As if I'm in darkness. To attack an enemy, you must first make an awareness roll. I guess that's it. I guess I just must have to succeed with an awareness check to be able to attack. It doesn't cost an action to make my awareness check, but that's exactly it. Otherwise I'm considered in darkness. Yeah, I have to make an awareness check in order to successfully attack these harpies per round. That's gonna stink. And then the last one was a 6, extreme attack, excrement attack, gross. Everyone within 10 meters must choose a condition. The attack can be paired with a shield. Guess what, you frogs? You get that condition. I'm splitting up the attacks a little bit. You can take the easy ones. I'll take the hard ones. New round. I guess that wasn't horrible, but my inability to hit a single harpy. These harpies would die pretty quick. They only have 12 hit points, but the thing is, I am mounted. I have to, at 11. I have to hit them. If I don't hit, that's a no-go. Okay, fun. Okay, let's try this again. 2 rolls from me. 1 roll for a frog who wisely fled outside the range of combat. They're going last, probably, and the harpies are going third. Harpies go before me. Go for anybody, so we could do a whole round all over again. Wank. 4, 2 5s, and a 6. I'm already blinded. I still take 2d6 damage though. Okay. 9, I do take 2 points of damage. I can't be any more blind than I already am. 2 5s, mass attack. Harpies split up, attack number of players within 10 meters equal to the number of individual harpies. So these guys are separated. We're no longer within 10 meters. I still think they're going to war with me. So I think they're going to do D8 slashing damage to me. Which may not affect. I'm only going to take damage really on an 8. Oh, no, D8 or D6? D8, sorry. I'll take 1 point damage on an 8. 3, 5, I don't take any damage. And then 6 is that excrement. I'm gonna have the frogs take another condition. If they roll that again, I'll take it. Okay, well that's not really too bad, other than the fact that I'm blinded. I have to make an awareness check. I guess I will roll it for each attack. That seems fair. Okay, awareness. Okay, I made my awareness check. I can still attack. 11 under to hit. Okay, that's a miss. I'm not going to push my roll. Awareness check. 17. I'm not able to attack. I guess I'll reserve. They've already gone. There's no even point in reserving that for parry. The frogs get an attack. They've got some conditions. I'm not giving them a bane yet on agility quite yet. They've not been eye gouged. Okay, they're both going to try to hit with their bows. They both hit. They do a D10 each. Look at them. They may be the ones who kill these harpies off. It's entirely possible. They do it. And Izzek's just running around like a blind bat. 5, 6. Yeah, I still say they're going to split up their attack. So this is kind of a swirling melee. 5 and 1. Maybe I'll randomize those attacks. 5 damage goes on harpy number 1. 1 damage goes on harpy number 4. It seems reasonable to randomize that. They are like a swirling mass of chaos. So let's see. This harpy's down to 7. This harpy's down to 4. Okay. I didn't want to mess around with this combat. I kind of wanted to get into it. I thought this was kind of a fun, crazy encounter. When I read the harpies, I was like, wow, these guys are kind of cool because they get a monster attack per harpy. Man, a swarm of harpies sound pretty cool. But they only have 12 hit points. You definitely want to get their numbers down. I can see why the book says when they get down to half their numbers, they flee. Because this is a lot of attacks coming in. They may not individually be super damaging, but when they're facing people with no armor or something like that, yeah, my knight stands a chance. But if I let these frogkin take too much damage, I mean, it would be an ugly scene. 2 more for me. Oh, here's my frogs. They go last again. Harpies go to 5. I go first both times this time around. I don't think I need to swap. I think I'm fine attacking with the lance. More mounted combat. Charge! I need to make awareness roll of 11. Oh, a dragon. Yeah, well, okay. I'm going to say I don't need to make a second awareness check. 1 is good enough for this round because I got the crit success on my awareness. Good enough. Now I'm going to make 2 rides. Miss. Hit. Okay. I did hit with 1 attack. A lance, I think, does 2d10? See, I don't get a chance to use this lance. I should just keep this gear page open. How many times do I gotta look at this gear page before I kind of get it? A lance, 2d10. And now that Izzek's weapons have improved so much, his sword is 2d8. The lance doesn't seem as impressive as it did when I first got it. 5, 8. That is 13 points of damage. I'm going to randomize which harpy gets that damage with that D4. It's going to kill a harpy. I just don't know which one. It's going to kill harpy number 3. Okay, that harpy number 3 hadn't taken any damage yet. That's good for him. Izzek impales a harpy on the end of his lance and has to slide that harpy's body off his lance before routing and turning around for more attacks. These harpies still come at him. He is kind of their main focus at the moment, even if these guys over here are slowly pegging him with arrows. 3 attacks for these harpies. 3, 4, 5. Death from above. Arrow within 10 meters suffer D6 bludgeoning damage. I'm still going to give this to the frogkin, even though they're kind of getting a little bit low on hit points. Got to be careful, but still, I think I'm going to give it to him. 3 and 2. Okay, that's going to bring him to 6. Because they wouldn't be able to hurt me, so the harpies might as well throw rocks at the frog so they can actually injure. You like how I try to be smart with the monsters, try to give them a little bit of something. I'm too kind. Okay. 2, 3, 4. I gouged. I mean, they're still gouging me because that does the most damage. That's one of their attacks that actually do damage to me because of the 2d6. So it pierces my armor. I think they would still probably focus on me for that, keeping me blind and out of the action. 6 points of damage. My armor does protect me. And then 5, mass attack. D8 slashing damage. I could kill those frogkin off pretty badly, but they still have a chance to do some damage to me if they roll an 8. I'll keep it on me. Maybe I should randomize the attacks. No, nothing this time around. If I'm being honest, I want at least one of these frogs to live so that I can get information out of them. For the longer story, one of these frogs have to live. New round. Oh no, frog's gonna go. 2 arrows. 2 misses this case though. 18, 17, they don't hit with either arrow. New round. Yeah, I got to let one of these at least one of these frogs live. So, wait for the GM to tilt the dice in our poor little frog's favor. Someone's got to do it. They're still down to half hit points, practically. Okay. Me. frogs. 3 harpies. So far, so good. I go first. I've got to make an awareness check. I'm still blinded. I think a stretch is the whole battle. I'm out. I think I'm blinded this whole battle. 15. Can't attack. Frogs go. A hit and a miss. What did I say? They're both go? Oh, both go to 12. So those are both hits. 2 hits. Let's see. 10. Wow. Which harpy gets a 10? 1. I think that harpy was damaged already, right? Yeah, that harpy has 7. Nails that first harpy. Second harpy. 4. Well, there's only... I guess it's funny we're only do 4. I forgot one's dead. That's okay. It's fine. Harpy number 2 has exactly 4. There's only 1 harpy left. These guys just killed 2 harpies this round with their little bows and arrows because I'm blinded and can't see. Okay. There's 1 harpy left. I think he does and should make a morale check of some sort. Yes, no question. Does this harpy flee battle? The book said automatically yes. I'm going to say on a D6, he flees this battle on a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. He only sticks around if I roll a 6. He rolled a 1. This last harpy flies off with an angry squawk, bitter, upset that their dinner has been spoiled. Izzek's bleeding heavily from his eyeballs. You know, he takes a bit of a breather, a round rest, which will give him 8 hit points back, thanks to his helmet. He also gets a D6 willpower back. I am down 2 willpower. Okay, there we go. He gets that 2 willpower back. These frogs kind of come hopping back out towards Izzek to check on him. They're a little wary of the wolf that he's currently riding. So once Izzek is able to see, he gets down off of Pork Chop and has Pork Chop stay back. And he goes and he approaches the 2 frogkin to talk to them. They're very thankful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They bow their heads. You saved our lives. Thank you so much. You know, they grab Izzek. They just start shaking his hand, dramatically. But one of the frogkin, of course, they notice that 4 of their brethren here are dead. You know, they quickly go to their dead and start mourning. You can tell they kind of cry and weep over their bodies of their friends. They do, I guess, don't want to say loot their friends' bodies, but they do scavenge their personal possessions from their fallen comrades. I guess Izzek will scavenge too? Why not? I'll do a D6. Oh, 6. I think 6 might actually be something. He's not scavenging their fallen friends, by the way. Let me make that a little more clear. He's scavenging these harpies and this area right here. Oh, it's a D10 for scavenging, not a D6. Let me reroll that. A 1. Unexpected danger. What? Let me roll a D4. I don't like that at all. I do not like that result. 4, a trap. So, Izzek does indeed start scavenging around. He notices that there's a hollow in this oak tree. This may have been where the hoppers are home. I mean, this area is kind of tainted and gross. There's harpy poo all over the place. This might have been where the harpies in, but there's a knot in this tree that may have been used to store treasure. Izzek kind of reaches his hand in this knot of the tree to see if there's any loot in there, and springs a trap. That did not go as expected. A trap. I mean, look at the solo rules here for some traps. We're going to try to keep it something a little bit that makes sense. I'll roll a d20 on this trap table. We'll see. What do we come up with here? 9. Piercing spikes. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So he reaches his hand in this hole, and it's kind of a narrow hole. He puts his fist in there, and he catches his hand on sharp, pointy thorns and cuts himself pretty badly. There isn't a chance to evade, so I think what I'll do is I can use a spot hidden to spot the trap, and an evade to maybe avoid its effects. I guess it's fair that I do that. Let's do a spot hidden. What this really is he reaches his hand in there. You know, he brushes against these thorns and indeed detects this thing's a massive thorny knot in there, but doesn't hurt himself. Spot hidden. 6. Okay. Spot hidden. He reaches his hand in there, and his hand brushes up against one of these sharp thorns. He quickly jumps, catches himself, but then slowly pulls out his hand and does not harm himself in the process. He's not going to dig around this tree anymore. These frogkin are talking amongst themselves, still taking care of their bodies or their friends. As they ask, can I help you, with your friends' bodies? Frogkin say no. There's no need to help. They gather their friends and they carry them down to the stream below the tree, and they place their bodies in the stream. This appears to be maybe an actual stream here, not just part of the flooded thing, but there is an actual more movement of water here. And maybe it was even a stream. It's likely it was a stream before it even got flooded. And their frogkin friends float down the stream. They speak some prayers that in frogkin that Izzek probably doesn't know. Languages? Frogkin? Bane? I'm going to say Bane. Frogkin are very uncommon creatures. The odds of Izzek knowing frogkin is probably not likely. Yeah, no. Well, they would have got it, I guess, if it was not a Bane. What's his languages? No, 5. He wouldn't got it either way. So they say some prayers in frogkin, which Izzek doesn't understand. And when they're done, they turn back to him. How does Izzek broach this question? Izzek says, "Hey, I heard that frogkins have a village in this camp, in these lands." The frogkins say, "Oh, yes, our village is not very far. We come from 4 fish flats. Do you want to come with us to our village? Do you got trade?" As it says, "No, I'm not a merchant. I don't have trade." "No trade?" As it says, "Well, I might have some copper and some silver. Maybe you buy fish?" "No, I don't know if I have a real need for fish." "Oh, but I did want to ask you some questions." "Oh? Have you seen any elves around here?" Frogkin kind of look at each other. But elves? Oh, you mean cursed ones? Yes, I do mean cursed ones, Izzek says somewhat enthusiastically. Oh, we no bother cursed ones, they no bother us. They no like your kind. Izzek is not surprised to hear that news. My kind, you mean nightkin? The frogkin nod enthusiastically. "Oh, they kill nightkin. You should get out of wetlands fast. They come, they kill you." Izzek says, I've already run into one. I'm aware that they don't like our kind. They don't bother you? Frogkin go, "No. They don't. They ignore us. We ignore them. We stay out of their way. They cursed." Yeah, it's like, I get it. What, do you know what kind of curse it is? Oh no, they've been here forever. This their lands. We 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 offer thanks to be here. We leave them alone. We just fish, make camp, stay out of their way. Says, I don't blame you. Do you know where they are? Oh, they come out of everywhere when night can come. You should leave. You should not be here. They may come for you. We do not want to see you hurt, friend. You good nightkin. We don't want to see you hurt. And he says, well, I don't plan on staying here fine, but I need to find these elves. Can you give me any idea where they may be? These two frogs consult with each other. They talk. Once again, they talk and frog get back forth. They get kind of animated in a discussion about this. Finally, one of them turns back to Izzek and say, oh, we don't, they stay hidden most times. We don't know for sure, but shaman might know. Your shaman? Oh, hey, our shaman might know. You come back to Four Fish Flats. May we tell you, hero, maybe shaman know. Oh, Izzek feels a great sigh of relief that he saved these frogs' lives, that he can go back there. I think the next session, this will wrap it up here. I think we've done what we came to do. That fight against those harpies were kind of fun, a little crazy. I didn't know what to do with it a little bit. I was a little left with more questions on how to run that combat a little bit, but I think I ran it the way it was supposed to be ran. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yes, next episode, we'll go to Four Fish Flats, talk to the Frogkin Shaman, and see if we can get out some idea where these cursed elves actually are living. Thank you guys. Have a good week.